Rock me, baby. Rock me, baby.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is August 4th. Very excited that pads went on yesterday. We've been waiting for this moment for a long time, and we're finally here. Pads are on in training camp. We got a football game this week. Yes, it is the Hall of Fame game, and I believe it is the Panthers and let's see. It is the Panthers versus the Cardinals Thursday Hall of Fame game. Obviously, we're going to get a little excited because any football is good football, but yeah, we got a football game, so definitely going to be watching that at least for a little bit. A chance to see maybe some of the rookies. I know Kenny Pickett is starting for the Panthers. I don't know if the Cardinals announced who's starting for them. So we'll see. Not expecting anyone that we particularly care about, but we got football nonetheless. All right, so let's make sure we're live everywhere. It looks like we are. Are we live on Twitch? Yep. All right. So, let me have a couple sips of my coffee before we get into all the nonsense. Today we got a few things that we're going to be going over. Obviously, we're going to highlight the training camp news across the league from over the last week. Some of it may be older news, some may be recent because there has been a lot of more recent stuff. I don't have any news today outside of, we'll start with this. Bijan Robinson, they finally did it. They got the contract done for Bijan Robinson. Right here from Ian Rappaport. Bijan to the bank. The Falcons and star running back Bijan Robinson agreed to terms on a massive 3-year deal worth a max value of $75 million, $25 million per year. The highest paid running back gets $51 million guaranteed. the highest ever for a running back. So that gets done. Falcons are probably happy they got that done. Now the Detroit Lions and Jahmyr Gibbs are next. And here you can see Ian Rappaport reporting, which I watched this as well during the press conference today. Dan Campbell was asked about how Bijan's contract would help negotiations and get the deal done for Jahmyr Gibbs, and he says it's certainly not going to hurt, but we'll see. So definitely don't love seeing players, sit out. Hate it. But at least we know, one, it's not for any injuries. Two, we know these guys are both good, Bijan and Gibbs. I mean, if anything, it's just like keeping the nice old car, not old, but keeping the car in the garage covered, and when it's time, he'll get out there. There's no doubt that Jahmyr is going to get his deal done soon here as well. Oh, and if you're watching on the shorts side, I apologize. There is no... There we go. All right. All right. Let's get into a couple. Let's start at the top. First off, if you are just coming on in, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. We're going to be putting out, and we have been putting out fantasy football content, but we're going to get into sports betting content, mainly NFL, but I do get into some NBA and MLB. Just hit a plus 240 MLB pick yesterday, and you can find all of that over at LineEmUpSports.com. I've been working on this website for the last week. It is not 100% there. There may see some things where it looks like, hey, this isn't even completed. Yeah, I know. I'm building it as quick as possible, but if you go look in the link in the description, there's a link that takes you directly to my fantasy football PPR rankings. The link is right in the description. And yeah, it's completely free. You can go check it out. I will continue to update it. I still need to add defenses and kickers. It just wasn't a priority for me. But I will get those in, and then yeah, expect those to constantly be, not constantly, but you can count on them being updated leading up to the start of the season. Gonna constantly be going in, adjusting, with injuries and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of movement right now with some players skyrocketing up the board, and we'll get into who those players are because there are quite a few. But let's get into some of the training camp news around the league. There's been a lot of unfortunate news for some of these teams, and we're gonna start and shout out to Sleeper NFL here because I'm gonna use their tweet as the showcase here. The San Francisco, easier for me to say, holy shit. The San Francisco 49ers dealing with a ton of injuries yet again. It seems like this every single year for the last few years they've been dealing with this injury. And the whole theory about the electric field that they play right next to being a factor, I am really starting to believe it. The more that we see these injuries pile up, the more and more people are just going to start really believing it because, man, you can't make this up. So the 49ers are dealing with running back Jordan James dealing with a rib fracture, expected to miss some time. Ricky Pearsall, season-ending injury. Done with the knee injury. It was PCL injury. They thought he could, I guess they avoided trying to do surgery in hopes that he could work his way back, and that's just not the case. He started getting some inflammation, and they are shutting him down for the remainder of the season, and he's gonna go and get surgery on his knee. Kalen Black, abductor injury. That's 2 running backs right there, by the way. Jordan James and Kalen Black. So 2 running backs down. So the depth behind Christian McCaffrey starts to thin out very quick there. Mike Evans pops up yesterday, and I mean, I'll be honest. I feared that this could be a situation for Mike Evans because, to be honest, when you're 32 years old, I believe, you know, and you have a history of hamstring injuries and soft tissues injuries, you're going to just be at a higher risk of getting hurt. And already in camp, they're saying Mike Evans is dealing with a minor, but an injury nonetheless. A minor quad strain is what I saw. Minor quad strain for Mike Evans. Okay, so that's 2. Let's just say that looking at the starting wide receivers as of right now, there's 2 starting wide receivers out. But that's not all. Dejon Stribling, someone that we've been hearing a lot over the last week, he is dealing with a hamstring injury, but they worded it as like hamstring tightness. So they could be being cautious, trying to let him and get that hamstring right before throwing him back out to the field. But either way, he's dealing with a hamstring injury. And then you got Christian Kirk, another oldie, with a calf strain. So it's like, looking at this wide receiver room, you got 4 wide receivers, and to be honest, those are your 1, 2, 3, and your 4 wide receivers that are just injured. What are you gonna do? What are the 49ers gonna do in this situation? Because this is a lot of injuries that are stacking up. And obviously I have a little more faith in Dejon Stribling. I think it's more precautionary, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be reading it wrong, and he could actually be actually dealing with it's like more than a hamstring tightness, because he has missed a couple practices. But Dejon Stribling, being a rookie, he's the one that I'm most interested in, because if he does, get healthy and this hamstring injury isn't something that lingers, which, with hamstring injuries, soft tissue injuries, those tend to linger. It's been known that's to be the case. So Dejon Stribling is someone that, if healthy, which I think he will be. He is a rookie. I think he's the one most interesting, especially when it comes to fantasy football. And the reason being is that even if Mike Evans is healthy week 1, even if Christian Kirk is healthy, Deebo Samuel, who they brought in, I forgot to mention because he's not on this list because he's not injured. Yeah, knock on wood for Deebo, because we don't need Deebo. Hey, I made my dog bark from knocking there. But Deebo Samuel, they brought him back, but he's older too. So this wide receiver core, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, and then Deebo Samuel, those guys are older. Now that's kind of concerning for the 49ers, given the injury concern. And yeah, obviously we cannot predict injury and all that kind of stuff, but look at Mike Evans. Before Mike Evans even got hurt, there was a couple posts on X that I responded to saying, Yeah, but because it was when the Deshaun Stribling hype started, and it was like, well, when you have a 32-year-old Mike Evans who has a history of dealing with hamstring injuries and soft tissue injuries, yeah, I'm gonna want the young buck, and he's already been making noise in camp. Brock Purdy has already come out and said that he has a lot of trust in Deshaun Stribling. Sucks that he's not getting the reps out there today. But the 49ers are dealing with a ton of injuries. Like I said, they're saying Mike Evans is a minor quad strain. The Deshaun Stribling said it was hamstring tightness, but he has missed a few practices. So curious to see if he can get back out on the practice field today. That's something that we'll have to be monitoring. Christian Kirk calf strain. I saw that there's a chance that Christian Kirk doesn't even make the cut for the 53-man roster. So not really looking much. Not really looking like Christian Kirk is gonna be making it to the final 53. He might. That's not for sure, obviously, but in my opinion, he dealt with a calf strain. I believe it was like day 1 of training camp, and he's still out. So, and then you got George Kittle coming back from the Achilles injury, and then obviously you got Brandon Ayuk, who hates the team, it says here, but we all know the situation with Brandon Ayuk. He is not going to be playing some football for a long time, in my opinion. But so that's the 49ers. We spent a good 5-10 minutes over here on the 49ers because they got a long list of injuries, but that is not the only injuries going on over in the NFL. Oh, by the way, if I'm the 49ers, looking at all these injuries for the 49ers, if I'm the 49ers, I'm calling Stephon Diggs. If I'm the 49ers right now with all these injuries, I'm calling Stephon Diggs before he goes and signs somewhere else, because it is not looking good. Obviously, that's just adding another older wide receiver, but Stephon Diggs looked good last year, putting up over 1,000 receiving yards coming off of an ACL injury. I think if I was in the 49ers situation, I am calling Stephon Diggs ASAP before he goes and signs somewhere else, which a lot of people are linking him to the Commanders. But if I'm the 49ers and I'm looking at this wide receiver room, it is not looking great. So I would definitely be trying to call Stephon Diggs and see if we could get a deal done there. But that is not the only injury going around the NFL. It sure is not, because it's football. We know it. We know it's football. So that means you're going to get some injuries. And there's been a shiny new toy in Pittsburgh. Or not Pittsburgh, I'm sorry. In New England. And that is AJ Brown. AJ Brown is dealing with in yesterday's practice, he suffered a dislocated thumb. The risk of the injury, I'm not too concerned. A thumb injury, we'll see more. We'll get more updates on the severity of it. Is it going to require surgery? Even if it does require surgery, it is very minimal to minor concern when it comes to the availability of AJ Brown. I think even if he had to undergo surgery on his thumb today, he should be good to go for week 1. So not really concerned about the thumb injury, but we do want to note that AJ Brown did suffer a dislocated thumb yesterday. Could potentially need surgery. We will see there. Next, let's head over to Kansas City. The Kansas City Chiefs they need to figure some things out over in their wide receiver room because they're dealing with injuries as well. You got Xavier Worthy dealing with a shoulder injury, and he got off-season shoulder surgery this past off-season. So already what appears to be not, I don't know if I would call it re-injuring or aggravating, I think is the right word, that shoulder. He aggravated that shoulder in practice, causing him to miss yesterday. We will see how long he misses, but I mean, from reports, they say that he's gonna be back out on the field. They're not too worried about it, like him missing a ton of time. But still, dealing with that shoulder injury that you just had off-season shoulder surgery on, like, you do not like seeing that for the Chiefs. The Chiefs wide receiver room, I mean, even looking at Rashee Rice, there's been videos coming out of Rashee Rice, and you could tell that knee, he's coming back from that knee injury, and it just seems that he's stiff. I don't know. He just in these videos, obviously we're looking at training camp videos, so it's like how much can you pull from it? But man, he was looking stiff, and yeah, it's just a little, past Rashee Rice, then Xavier Worthy. Let's say that he's dealing with the shoulder injury and it does cause him to miss some time. What are you gonna go lean on 36-year-old Travis Kelce? Is that the answer? No. Patrick Mahomes coming back from his ACL injury, so I mean, we saw what he had to do last year to even stay in the games, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that this year. And that was him taking it into his own hands and him rushing the ball, and we saw that a lot from Patrick Mahomes last year. He was running the ball a whole lot more than we've seen over the last handful of years. So definitely a situation to monitor in the Chiefs camp over there. What's up, Mitch? How we doing? You need some help? I'm in a keeper 10-man for PPR league. I'm pick 10. I'm in between two guys. I'm between keeping Puka round 1 or Chase Brown round 10. Who should I keep? Man, obviously Puka Nacua is great, but man, Chase Brown, keeping him in round 10. I mean, I think that's the move, especially in full PPR, because you know that he's gonna catch those passes out of the backfield. And Chase Brown right now, he's going second round, maybe early third round. I think that's your value right there, is keeping Chase Brown. As much as I love Puka is great, but the fact that the value you're getting in keeping Chase Brown in round 10, that's who I would keep. Definitely, that's who I would keep. In full PPR, Chase Brown is going to catch a lot of passes out of the backfield. I love that Bengals offense this year. I honestly, the Bengals are going to look really, really good. The only slight concern, and it's not going to be, who do you think is best player to aim for at pick 10 and 11? Pick 10 or 11. It really depends who is available there. Obviously, if there's like CeeDee Lamb or one of the high-end wide receivers, like if Amara or any of those top 4 guys slide there, I would go wide receiver. But honestly, I really like targeting I really like taking a running back at that point right there. I'm really high on Omarion Hampton. Ken Walker is another one as well that I like at that point as well. So yeah, I guess at that point I do like targeting the running backs there, and ideally at that point I don't mind targeting Omarion Hampton, and then on that turn getting another running back going, Ken Walker, and you would be set. If you did that, if you went 2 running backs, you go and get Omarion Hampton and Ken Walker, then you already are saving, or you already have Chase Brown that isn't round 10. So then you have 3 solid running backs. So in rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, like you could just target heavy wide receivers after that point. So in round 3, you could go target like a Ladd McConkey, a Mecca Buka. There's so many wide receivers in the third, from the 3rd to 6th round that I really like. So there's a lot. There's a lot that you can do from that. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out, Mitch. But as I was saying, with the Chiefs wide receiver room, Rashee Rice, it just is obviously reacting to clips, but he has not looked that great. And then looking at, Xavier Worthy dealing with the shoulder injury, and then Cyrus Allen, rookie wide receiver, has been making noise in practice, and this is a guy that you need to keep your eye on because there's already been a ton of reports that when he was in, before he suffered a shin bruise, thank God it's only a shin bruise, that I'm not concerned about the injury. He's gonna probably wait for the swelling to go down. He'll be back out there, but Cyrus Allen is the name that you need to keep on your radar. Mahomes has shown early on in camp and has been targeting Cyrus Allen early a lot in camp. And that's just a note that we need to take, especially as we see some of these injuries pop up. But hopefully he can get back out there. It's only a shin bruise. He's expected to be fine and be out there. He's a deeper sleeper right now. But as we go on in injuries, we get more clarity. He could become someone that you want to target in drafts. That should be we should obviously know more as camp goes on. But the main concern for me with the Chiefs right now is, one, the health of Rashee Rice. Over the offseason, he dealt with a lot of stuff off the field. He went to jail for violating his probation for the incident that happened, I believe, last offseason or this season before that. So just kind of some concern with Rashee Rice a little bit. I don't know why I don't love clicking on his name this year. And then you have Xavier Worthy with the shoulder injury that he dealt with last year. Now starting off training camp, already dealing with it. Don't love that. So Cyrus Allen, keep an eye on that guy. Put him on your radar for sure. Before I keep on going, I just want to take a quick second, and if you are watching, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. We're going to be going live a whole lot more as we lead up to the season. Maybe even try to squeeze in a live stream every single day. Talk about what's going on around the NFL, place some bets, talk some fantasy football. Come in, you can ask your questions, just like our guy Mitch came in asking his questions. Always appreciate, love talking football. And the goal here is to create a community. I'm not coming in talking like I'm some expert, I know it all. All the information is out there. I'm just going out there and finding it and then making my opinion and letting you guys know my thoughts on it, and then you can make your opinion on it. I'm not going to come out and act like I know anything for sure. Mitch, thoughts on the Ravens this year? I mean, the Ravens are going to look I think the Ravens are going to look a whole lot different than we're used to seeing. I mean, losing Harbaugh as the head coach is definitely going to make this team look a whole lot different than we're used to seeing. With that being said, not only did they lose Harbaugh, which is fine, I think it was needed for sure, but they go and they lose their center, Tyler Linderbaum, and from what I saw, they tried targeting a center in the draft and ended up getting sniped and not getting who they wanted. So they ended up having to go to plan B or C for what they wanted to do with this offensive line at the center position specifically. That is a little concerning, but from a fantasy standpoint, I love it for Lamar. I think we could see Lamar run more, because if you go look over the last couple seasons, and let me see if I can pull it up. Let me pull up his stats over the last few seasons. But if we go and look, Lamar Jackson over the last couple seasons, you know, you could see, 2022, 112 carries, 764, 148, 821, 139, 915, and then last year, 67, only 349 yards. He only did play 13 games, but through 13 games, I mean, just for, looking back, he played 12 games in 2022, had 112 rush attempts at that point. So you could tell last season he was not running the ball as much as we're used to seeing him. He only had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. His longest run was 19 yards. I think in this new offense, I think we could see Lamar get back to running the ball a little more. So yeah, I think overall, I think this offense will be good. Could we see them go through some pains? Obviously, like I said, with the offensive line, losing Tyler Linderbaum, that's going to be huge, especially for the running game for them. So it could force Lamar out of the pocket more, causing him to run more, which for fantasy football, we'd like to see. But overall, curious to see how they finish. They're still favorited to win the division. Personally, I think the Bengals win the division, but yeah, I think Baltimore could have a solid season under new coaching staff. Yeah, so right now the Ravens minus 105 to win the AFC North, and then the Bengals are plus 170, at least for when I took the screenshot a couple weeks ago. Yeah, curious to see how that team looks, but overall I think the Ravens will be solid. I mean, they got Lamar Jackson. A lot goes on his shoulders, so we will see. And like I said, I think we could see him running the football a whole lot more. All right, there's a couple other spots I want to hit on the injury front, and let's head over to the Chicago Bears safety Kobe Bryant, hyperextended knee with bone bruise and a small fracture. He's expected to miss 8 to 10 weeks. 8 to 10 weeks. Their starting safety that they brought in, he was on the Rams last year, I believe. Really good safety too. Signed him to a 3-year, $40 million deal. This is a big loss for the Bears secondary, for sure. Stephen Curry, Glazer, 30. What is going on? Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning to you. You know, speaking of Steph Curry, I saw something that there's a potential interest in Boston going for Steph Curry. Would you hate if Steph Curry left the Warriors? I don't know. I mean, LeBron's doing his thing, going to the Sixers. I really thought we were going to see him go to Golden State. That would have been cool. I would have loved to see that. But could you imagine Steph Curry going and playing with Jason Tatum over in Boston? That would be kind of cool. If you hate Boston, you're not going to like that, but hey, for sure, yeah, I would be mad but happy. Yeah, I get that. There's definitely bittersweet situation there because he's been there for so long, but obviously you want Steph to have a shot of winning again, and with the current state of the Golden State Warriors, I don't know if they got the juice right now, but we'll see. The NBA offseason has been crazy. We'll see if any more moves happen, but we'll see for sure. But getting back to the Bears injury, so safety Kobe Bryant expected to be out 8 to 10 weeks, so that's going to lead into the season. So that leads probably coming back week 4 or 5, I believe. So the Bears defense has already been a topic of conversation this offseason. It's been a hey, Steph Curry Glazer, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. Yeah, so the Bears defense has already been a topic of conversation over the offseason, with the D-line being a concern, and then now dealing with a lot of injuries in that secondary. With Kobe Bryant being out, they're getting super thin. I would expect them to go out and try to acquire someone, to get some depth on this defense. But I mean, looking at this team overall right now, the Bears have a 9.5 total win this season, according to sportsbooks. They have them at 9.5, and honestly, I'm liking the under on 9.5, and it's not because of the offense. And if you go and look through some of my content, you will find out quick that 1, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. 2, that means I don't really like the Bears that much. I put out a piece on Caleb Williams, that I didn't understand how he was a top 10 rated quarterback on Madden. I'm not getting into all that right now, but that is not why I'm saying that they're going to be under 9.5 wins. It's because this Bears defense is now showing that the expectation that the defense was going to take a big dip and regress this year is already kind of showing to be true, especially with these injuries that as they pile up. They're getting very thin, and if the offense has to put up a ton of points, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that this year. You got to remember, this Bears team stayed in games because of this defense last year. They led the league in turnovers, crazy amount of turnovers that isn't repeatable. That is not going to be repeatable, and clearly they're not going to repeat that with how their defense looks right now. And with a depleted defense, a harder schedule, it's just hard for me to see them get over 9.5 wins. So if you're a betting man like myself, you can go and hammer the under on 9.5 wins there. A lot of people are talking up Caleb Williams. Everyone's high on the Bears because they had a really good season last year. Yes, they did. First year for Ben Johnson. They go out and they make it to the playoffs. They win a playoff game, and then here we are this year, and they have a lot of high expectations. And for me, I mean, harder schedule, defense not even, from what I'm seeing, not nearly as good as they were last year. I do expect a big regression for the Bears. 9.5 wins seems like a lot. So, but on some positive news for the Chicago Bears, Luther Burden. Keep that guy on your radar for your fantasy drafts. He's already skyrocketing in ADPs. I think he's at like 20 or 21 wide receiver off the board. But in a Ben Johnson offense, I do think Luther Burden is someone that you need to keep an eye on. He's been getting his praises throughout training camp, even throughout the entire offseason, even from mini camp 3-4 months ago. Ben Johnson was talking about how good Luther Burden has become and how good he's doing, and singing his praises. And that has continued throughout camp. He's making a lot of plays. And, in a Ben Johnson offense, we know what Ben Johnson can do. We've seen it through, with the Lions. We saw it last year. I do think Luther Burden is the wide receiver you want on this team. The Roman Doomsday conversation is one that you can have, but Ben Johnson and this coaching staff didn't bring in Roman Doomsday. They went and brought in Luther Burden. And Ben Johnson has already said that he is expecting that second year leap for Luther Burden. He didn't really get that many opportunities last year, but when he did make an impact. And Ben Johnson is comparing him, and I hate the comparison, to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra is Amon-Ra. I hate that there's so much layover with Chicago and Detroit because of Ben Johnson. There's so much comparison between the two. Steph Curry, I'm a Bills fan. I think if the Bills get a better wide receiver. Yeah, so for the Bills, I mean, they brought in DJ Moore, and I would be excited about that. DJ Moore, if you go look at the last couple seasons, you will see regression from DJ Moore. You could see that, like, a decline in production, but you got to think about the situation that he was in. He came to Chicago. His first season in Chicago, he was great. I mean, I think he had over 1,300 yards. I mean, I'll pull up his stats right now. I'll pull up his stats right now because DJ Moore is someone who I love for fantasy football this year. But looking at DJ Moore, you could see 2023, first year with Chicago, 1,300 yards, 136 targets, 8 touchdowns. I'm sorry. And then year 2, 140 targets. This is first year with Caleb. 2024 was first year with Caleb before Ben Johnson. First year with Caleb, and Caleb was a lot worse than he is now. Caleb has gotten better. Still not great looking at Caleb's completion percentage and all that kind of stuff. You can try to justify it, but if you go and look at all 32 plus quarterbacks, he ranked at the bottom last year. I think he was like 33 or 34 out of all quarterbacks last year in completion percentage. So that means backup quarterbacks came in and had a higher completion percentage than him. Anyways, there goes me talking shit about Caleb Williams and the Bears again. That's going to happen from time to time. Anyways, so first year with Caleb, you see some regression, so a decline from DJ Moore. Still got a ton of targets. Didn't hit that 1,000-yard receiving mark. 6 touchdowns. not terrible, but last year, 85 targets. So he went dramatically down. And the reason is from the situations he's in now. Last year, they had Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, Roman Dunze. New offense as a whole. Ben Johnson knew bringing in Luther Burden that eventually he was going to be the guy. That's why they let DJ Moore go this offseason, because there's just not enough room and there's just not enough targets to go around to feed all those guys. And it took a beating on DJ Moore's production in 2025. But now with the Buffalo Bills, they've been looking for a wide receiver one ever since Stephon Diggs left. If you go look, I'll go, I made a video about this. And if you go to my shorts or on Instagram, you can see this breakdown that I did. But Josh Allen, looking at Josh Allen, you can see so from 2020, I believe, I think 2020 to 2023, right here. Oh shit, it's not letting me highlight correctly. Okay, from 2020 to 2023, you can see he was pushing 4,500 yards almost every single season. 579, 567, 646, 572 pass attempts. In 2023, 579. 2024, you see no Stephon Diggs. This is after Stephon Diggs. 493 or 483? And then 460 last year. You can see in the passing yards from 2023 to 2024. That's 600 yards less right there. 4,300 to 3,700. And he won MVP in 2024. But it's just obvious that the Bills have been missing a wide receiver one. Going out and getting DJ Moore is that wide receiver one. And if you go and look at camp reports and stuff like that, DJ Moore that connection is alive and well, and I think he's gonna get that Stephon Diggs treatment. When Stephon Diggs got traded to the Bills, he was getting a ton of targets. Stephon Diggs was a top 10 wide receiver all 4 years for the Buffalo Bills, I believe. And then they move on from Stephon Diggs. They hoped Keon Coleman would be the guy to replace him, and that doesn't happen. So then you're just dealing with Khalil Shakir, and then you're bringing in players like Brandon Cooks. Brandon Ayuk wishes he could go be on the Bills, but no, going out and bringing in Brandon Cook, and you bring in, I think they brought in Amari Cooper, which was just a complete bust, and he ended up retiring after that season. But either way, they've been trying to find a fix to this, and they finally just went out and got one. I think DJ Moore, is one of my favorite wide receivers to target in fantasy football this year. I think he's a steal at his ADP. As far as the Bills overall as a whole, what happens if they don't reach the Super Bowl at this point? Because that's the expectation. They've made it so far. Every single year they make it so far and they just come up short. How long do you go before, I don't even know what they would do after the season. If this is a failed season this year, what would they do to try to make it? I don't know. It's really tough. They're going on for Josh Allen. He's almost in year 1, 2, 3. year 9, I believe, for Josh Allen. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious to see what happened in that situation. But I love them acquiring DJ Moore. I love it for sure. All right. Couple other things I wanted to hit on. Actually, I think I got all the injury news, but we need to talk about it. We need to talk about the running back situation, the running back room watch. We need to talk about it because there's a lot of backfields that we need to figure out. We need to figure out and see if see who's going to be getting the bulk of the carries at some of these places. And there's a couple that we need to talk about that we weren't necessarily thinking that was going to happen. And then a couple that we did expect. And the first guy we're going to start off with is my guy, Bashal Tuin. He has been the clear winner of camp through the first week. And this is someone that I was very high on. A lot of people were high on. I'm not acting like I'm the only one that was high on Bashal Tuin. But I love to see that he is getting the touches and making the plays that I thought he would. With Travis Etienne Jr. no longer there. I hate saying that, by the way. Travis Etienne. It's Travis Etienne forever, but Travis Etienne Jr. No longer there. I expected Bashal Tuin to take the step. Now, a lot of people were concerned about Chris Rodriguez, and he still could be a headache a little bit. But Tuin so far has been getting majority of the first team reps. And a lot of that has to do is Chris Rodriguez is working his way back from a foot injury. So, he started off camp working on the side, and, now they're slowly getting him more involved. But what I like about Tuin in this backfield, and right now I think he is a clear smash winner, and I really hope that he doesn't end up getting boosted before the end of August. By the time we get to the end of August, I hope he doesn't end up getting pushed to like the 3rd round. That would be very annoying because right now you can get him like safely in the 5th. But as we get closer to the season starting, I think he can get talked up to getting drafted in that 3rd round, and that would be very, very annoying. But I really like him. He's someone in PPR formats. He's going to be very involved in the passing game. And Chris Rodriguez, throughout his college and NFL career, has not been used as a pass catcher. What does that mean? That means Bashal Tuin will likely handle majority, if not all, the passing game work. It's sounding like that Tuin, right here, Tuin has made several big runs against the Jaguars defense. This was with not pads on, but he showed the balance in the open field that he was missing as a rookie. So it's not for sure. It's not penciled in that like he is the guy, but right now he is above and beyond Chris Rodriguez. The concern I have with Chris Rodriguez is potentially stealing, some goal line work. Maybe they bring him in on the short yardage, but overall, I think Tuin is one of the safer running back picks that you can grab. Like I said, right now he's currently being drafted. Let me check his current ADP. I'm curious what his current ADP is right now. Take a sip with some coffee as well. Let's see. Okay, so he's still being drafted right now, currently around running back 23 to 25 is where he's currently going. Bashal Tune. Like I said, I'm kind of concerned that as we get closer, people are going to talk him up a little bit more. Because right now, players that are going before him, David Montgomery, which I really like him this year as well. But DeAndre Swift, Travion Henderson is going before him. Like I feel like as we get closer to September, that is not going to be the case. While there's been some good reporting on Travion Henderson, I've been seeing that they're still favoring Ramondre Stevenson there, and we'll talk about that pretty soon. Quinshon Judkins, I like him as well. But yeah, so point being, Bashal Tune right now is a great value. He's right now the guy for the Jags, and I think he's the clear winner as of right now. We'll see as we get closer, but right now it seems like Bashal Tune is winning that RB room right there. Now, unexpected running back room that I didn't think we're gonna have to monitor. I honestly did not think this was gonna be a situation, but the Eagles reports are saying that Tank Bigsby and Saquon Barkley have been splitting first team reps 50-50. And like Zane says here, not something to overreact about yet, but from what I've been seeing, and not just from this report here, because this is not the only report, Saquon Barkley could see his work managed more this season, and Tank Bigsby could get more involved. Now, Saquon Barkley is currently being drafted as Saquon is currently being drafted as the RB8. Am I worried about Tank Bigsby enough to not want to draft Saquon Barkley where he's going right now? Probably not. Unless we see some or hear something otherwise, I am still confident that Saquon Barkley is the guy that they want on the field. But it is worth noting that there's reports of a 50-50 split in camp with Tank Bigsby and Saquon Barkley, and potentially wanting to manage Saquon Barkley's role and workload this season. We'll see how that goes. But definitely something that we need to monitor closely, especially leading up to our drafts in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, not expecting that at all. And that came across the timeline, and I was like, what? But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. The next one that we need to talk about. Let's see. Let's Pittsburgh Steelers. Dowdle, Rico Dowdle, Jalen Warren. Right now, it seems to be wide open. 50-50. I personally give Rico Dowdle the edge from what I've seen. I personally give Rico Dowdle the edge. I mean, yesterday in their first 2-minute drill, who was out there? Rico Dowdle. So that's something that we're going to have to, now that pads, yesterday was first day of pads, as we get in to throughout this week, we'll know a whole lot more. So, right now it seems pretty open between the two. There's not really a definitive favorite right now. But like I said, Dowdle handled the 2-minute drill yesterday, the first 2-minute drill. So take that for what you will. Backfield that we need to monitor. Now let's head over to the New England Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. And as I mentioned just a little bit ago, Henderson has still been struggling. A lot of people have been reporting that he's still struggling with the vision and the patience. Like, he can't find the hole. He is like, a big thing with him last year was basically he would just run in the back of his offensive lineman. He wasn't finding the holes. He was just, it's like almost like he would get the ball and he would just run full speed right into the back of his lineman and not get anywhere. And from reports coming out of camp, it seems like that is still kind of the case. So right now, Ramondre Stevenson is still the favorite here. And definitely don't like to see that for Travion Henderson. We'll see as camp goes on. We'll see. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, I believe he left the first day of camp with some, it was either injury, he was either cramping, something like that. I think there's still hope for Travion Henderson, but where he's being drafted in fantasy drafts right now, like I said, I mean, he's being drafted around players like Quinshon Judkins, Swift, David Montgomery, Bashaw Tune. I think I would rather have all those guys over Travion Henderson right now. Hands down. I believe I would. Because it's crazy how much Mike Vrabel likes Ramondre Stevenson. And like I said, it probably has to do with the vision and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of factors that are leading, that lead to them wanting to favor Ramondre, but you definitely need to keep an eye on this running back room, because Travion Henderson has shown flashes of greatness. He really has. I mean, he had like 4 touchdowns in one game last year. There was multiple games actually that he had some very solid games, but when it came to like even the playoffs, you saw like the running efficiency, it's just not there. And a lot comes down to, like I said, the vision and not seeing the holes and no patience and all that stuff. And, you know, someone that I love, honestly, watching, and if you didn't watch football back then, I understand. I mean, it's not that long ago, about 10 years. Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was like the most patient runner I feel like I've seen, even still up to this day. He would go and he would just like float behind his linemen, and he would just patiently wait for them to open the hole, and then boom, he would hit he would hit that hole, and he'd be gone. And I think with Travion Henderson, it's the opposite of the patient and sitting behind the lineman. He's just running in the back of them, bouncing off them, and then trying to make a run, ends up getting tackled, not getting anywhere. So definitely a running back room that we still need to get more clarity on. But overall, it seems like Ramondre Stevenson is that guy. Next up, we got the Buccaneers with Bucky Irvin and Kenneth Gainwell. And there's been some positive reports headed here. There's been a lot of concern about Bucky Irving and his role in this offense, and so far he has been getting majority of the carries on the ground, but Gainwell has been primarily used as the pass catcher. In PPR formats, we love pass catching running backs. And it's not that I don't think Bucky Irvin could not be a pass catcher, but I mean, let's even take a look at Bucky Irving. And I mean, he did miss some time last year as well. But let's see. So in the passing game last year, 35 targets. The year before, 52 targets. He just wasn't as good last year. He really wasn't. He was averaging 3.4 yards a carry on the ground, only one rushing touchdown. He only played 10 games, but it was not a great season out of him last year. And like I said, my concern here, if he's getting majority of the touches, I love that. It makes me feel a little better about drafting him, because if he's gonna get 15 to 20 carries a game, I think he could be solid in both formats, PPR and half PPR standard. Who gets the goal line work is the question. I think I would lean that Bucky would be the goal line back in this situation, but who knows? Because that clearly wasn't the case last year. I believe Sean Tucker, I believe, took a ton of goal line work last year. So either way, positive news seeing that he's getting majority of the carries, but Gainwell used more as a pass catcher. But in PPR formats, we don't love seeing that there. Now let's head over to the New Orleans Saints. This backfield is going to be a headache. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a headache. Right now, reports are saying that this is a split backfield between Travis Etienne Jr. and Alvin Kamara. I really think that there's a good chance that is the case throughout the season, and the reason being is that Alvin Kamara ends up staying instead of what I thought. Alvin Kamara was done. I thought he was going to retire, but it seems that they brought him back, and it seems that he's going to get the work. And when it comes to Travis Etienne Jr., yes, with the Jaguars, he was really good. He had a really good season last year. They move on for him, and then he goes to the Saints. I thought for sure that Alvin Kamara was done. I was like, okay, he's on the Saints now. Alvin Kamara has not really looked that good. Which, by the way, crazy stat about Alvin Kamara here. Alvin Kamara has never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. He got close. He got really close. I believe a couple of seasons ago, he got really close. He got like 930-something rushing yards. He got really, really close. But in his 10 years in the league, I believe he's been in the league for like 10 years, he has not had 1,000-yard rushing season. Pretty crazy stat. But that's my concern, is that this being a split backfield and knowing Alvin Kamara's strengths and his weakness, like I would say his weakness is on the ground. Like I said, he hasn't had a 1,000-yard rushing season. He has been more known as a pass catching running back. And for fantasy football, that's the value. That is the value for a lot, especially PPR leagues. And a lot of what I talk about is for PPR leagues. I think I feel like PPR leagues, that's where it's a lot more fun, in my opinion, over other formats. But that is the value right there, is the pass catching running backs. And if this is going to be a split backfield, and I would assume I would think we would see Alvin Kamara handling the pass catching roles. And if this is a 50-50 split, and I mean, both running backs from reports that I've seen, they want to play together. They want to work together. And, Travis Etienne Jr., I feel like out of respect for Alvin Kamara and who he is and how good he has been as a player, despite not being a 1,000-yard rusher ever, which is still crazy. I mean, I can't believe it, to be honest. I really cannot believe that he hasn't been a 1,000-yard rusher. Not one season in his career. But I have a concern with this backfield. I am not drafting Travis Etienne Jr. at his current ADP. I'm not. I'm not doing it. He's currently being drafted as the RB18. He's going around players like Cam Scatterbo. Rather have Cam Scatterbo, who has had positive things come out of camp about him. A lot of reports saying that he is like the clear running back there. So Tyrone Tracy, I think Devin Singletary might be there still. But Tyrone Tracy is definitely there. And Cam Scatterbo is the guy there. But Travis Etienne Jr. at 18, I'm not going there. I would rather draft, like I said, Javonte Williams, Cam Scatterbo, Quinshon Judkins. I really like Quinshon Judkins. Obviously, I hate the Browns. It's not a good feeling to pick anyone from the Browns. But Quinshon Judkins, I think, is someone that you need to put on your radar a little bit. But yeah, I'm the Saints backfield. I'm staying away from it. Let someone else deal with that headache, because I really do think it's going to be a headache. So that is still an issue for the Saints that we need to figure out. But overall, I believe that is all the updates for the running back watch. Those are running back rooms that I've been keeping an eye on. 3 other ones that I've been looking at: Rams, Panthers, Commanders. Haven't really gotten much clarity out of those. Rams with Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. I'm really scared of a 50-50 split there to go and draft Kyron. He's someone that I've been high on over the last few seasons. Coming into this year, based off of what I saw towards the end of last year, we saw Blake Corum. We saw his snap counts go up, pushing that 40%. If this becomes a 50-50 backfield, I think it's going to be very, very frustrating when Kyron Williams gets a huge 20-yard run and gets it on the 5-yard line, and then all of a sudden here comes Blake Corum in to steal the touchdown. Those are the kind of situations that I think that we see, because there's no way that Sean McVay doesn't want to get Blake Corum involved. I mean, Blake Corum looked really solid. I mean, there were so many times last year where I'd be like, because I had Kyron Williams on my fantasy team, I'd be like, yeah, huge run, a touchdown, and all of a sudden you see 22, and it's Blake Corum and not Kyron Williams. So, definitely a situation that we need to monitor. Right now, I am out on Kyron Williams because of that. I don't mind drafting Blake Corum in the later rounds as a handcuff. Obviously, with all these situations, that the worry of a 50-50 backfield, there is value. But my point in watching these rooms is, are we drafting them at where they are? Is where they're being drafted considering a value, or are there players around there that have more of a for sure role in the offense that I feel more confident in than taking someone that's in a split backfield? So I'm looking for the value. And right now, with these 50-50 backfields, the RB1 who we think, like the Kyron Williams or the Travis Etienne Jr., those guys, Like, yeah, if Blake Corum or Alvin Kamara go down, like, of course those guys are going to be amazing, and they still might have good games, but there's going to be so many times, I believe, that they're going to be sniped of touchdowns, or they're going to lose touches because of the 50-50 backfield. And then the Panthers, Carolina Panthers, you have Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks. A lot of reports coming in positive about Jonathan Brooks being used as a pass catcher. He could be interesting to be drafted. I do think his ADP has gone up a little bit, but in PPR formats, we like the pass catchers, and we saw Chuba Hubbard, his attempts or his yards per carry went down last year. And Jonathan Brooks has been someone obviously very highly thought of, but the injuries have held him back. So if he can stay healthy, Jonathan Brooks as a pass catcher, definitely that's where I see the value. But we gotta see. We got a couple more weeks. Pads just came on. We'll learn more. And then we have the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders, we're dealing with Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt and Rachaad White. Hasn't been a clear winner there. Positive reports about Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. Rachaad White has been a great pass catcher for a long time. We got to see how that works out. We haven't really got many updates from those three teams specifically, but overall, those are the running back rooms that I've been watching closely. As we get more news, I will keep you guys updated there. But yeah, before we move on to the quarterback battles, hey, Steph Curry, I see you. Appreciate you hanging out. If you guys haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button. Follow for more fantasy football content. We're going to be putting out, like I said, we're going to have sports betting content as once we get into the season. We'll have bets for every game, or for every, not every game, because on Sunday there's so many games, so you're not going to want to bet every game, but we'll have bets for Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and then as waiver wire pickups, we'll be talking a lot about that. We'll be doing our live streams for our start sits, so you can come in, ask me start sit questions. We'll have a lot of fun this season, so make sure that you're subscribed, follow, and hit that thumbs up button. It does help me out a ton. It lets YouTube and all these other platforms know that you're enjoying this content, and other people should come and hang out and see it. So make sure you do that. My goal here is to create a community of people that just like sports, that loves football like I do. My goal is not to be some expert here. My goal is to create an environment that people like to come, hang out, listen to me talk about some football. You can jump in, talk about some whatever topics that you want to talk about, and we can just go back and forth like we're just all hanging out in the basement chilling. So that's the goal here. And hey, we might even do some Madden streams. We got the new Madden game coming out pretty soon here. I don't know exactly when that's coming out. I'm gonna have to check that out and see when that's coming out, because I still got to order it. But yeah, very excited what we got going on here. And yeah, one other thing. Head on over to LineEmUpSports.com. I have the link in the description here, but if you're on those other platforms that I'm streaming to that do not have the descriptions, LineEmUpSports.com, you can go and you can get you can check out all. I have articles up there. I have sports betting picks. Right now it's MLB season, so I'm putting out MLB bets. I just hit a plus 240 bet last night, so happy about that. We're going to be posting some bets shortly. And then I have my free PPR rankings up. You can just go lineemupsports.com/rankings, or if you go to lineemupsports.com and click the fantasy rankings tab, completely free. I'm gonna continue to update them. I did not upload kickers or defense yet. I just made this website in the last week, so I've been working on it almost every single night, putting a ton of hours in, trying to get it to where I want it to be. It is almost there, but make sure you check that out for sure. Steph Curry, when is my next live stream? So my goal is I might do one tonight. There's possibility I do one tonight. If I do one tonight, it wouldn't be until later tonight. And later would be like 9:30, 10 o'clock EST, Eastern time. But just make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell too as well, so you know when I go live. I will always schedule the live event beforehand, so you know that I'm going live. Very rare will I just pop live randomly. So if I'm gonna go live, you'll see it scheduled. If not, just make sure that you're following. You can also go follow me over on X, Instagram. I'm on all platforms, TikTok. Go follow over on those channels as well, so you can stay up to date on everything that's going on around here. Appreciate you hanging out, Steph. Appreciate you. But let's talk about the quarterback battles real quick, because we got a couple more things, and then we're going to get into a mock draft at the end here to wrap it up. We're going to get out of here in the next half hour ish. Trying to get through this real quick. But quarterback battles that we're looking at right now, we got the Browns, Vikings, and Falcons. And we'll start with the Atlanta Falcons. And because I feel like this is easiest one of the three to talk about right now. But Tua's taking most of first team reps. Michael Penix is still working his way back from his knee injury. But as of right now, it seems like it's Tua's job to lose. You got to remember, they brought in a whole new coaching staff. They didn't go and draft Michael Penix, who now has dealt with knee injuries on both knees. It's just not looking good for Michael Penix as of right now. It seems like this is Tua's job to lose. And you got to remember, Kevin Stefanski, the head coach there now, he brought in Tua. So you would think he has the upper hand right now. Tua has the upper hand right now over Michael Penix by a long shot, in my opinion. I would put my house on Tua being the starter this year for sure. So right now, Tua is to me is the clear starter for the Falcons. So that's how I'm operating. He has been known to be a pretty accurate quarterback. We'll see how this team plays out. Bijan Robinson just signed his big contract, 3-year, $75 million, I believe, 51 fully guaranteed, something like that. Just trying to remember off the top of my head. But right now, I think Tua's winning this quarterback battle pretty easy, given the fact that Penix is still working his way back from the knee injury. They're slowly working him back. So I really think it's Tua's job to lose. Now let's talk about more of an interesting quarterback battle, and that's with the Minnesota Vikings, Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy. Now this one is one of the bigger quarterback battles in my eyes, because this team has been very solid ever since Kevin O'Connell has been the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, they were with Sam Darnold, they were a 14-3 team. Now, last year they went 9-8. But there's clear, it's clear that they didn't believe in JJ McCarthy. They didn't think that he was someone that could. Maybe they do think that he could still go and make that leap, but they go out and bring in Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray has been the favorite since the offseason, before even training camp even began. Everyone is just saying, yep, Kyler Murray is the guy. He's going to win it. He's the starter for the Vikings. And while I do believe that. I 100% believe that Kyler Murray is going to be the starter. The JJ McCarthy truthers have not been quiet, that's for sure, because there's been a lot of positive reports of JJ McCarthy as well, where he's looking better. His the decisions that he's making, he has improved. But is it enough to win the starting job over Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray, despite the last couple seasons and dealing with injury and dealing with just overall terrible teams, he was a solid quarterback, especially, his first couple seasons in the league. And then, there was a lot of, I think a lot of culture issues, with the team. Obviously they go and they, get new coaches and all that kind of stuff. He been through a couple coaches. He had, Jonathan Gannon. He had, why can't I think of his name? He was with the Commanders as the OC. God, I can't think of his name. Either way, Kyler Murray, I think there was a lot of culture issues there. Now he goes to the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell, who has been known as someone that has been very favorable to quarterbacks, someone that has been able to bring out the good in the quarterbacks. Obviously, that didn't really pan out for JJ McCarthy last year. We'll see if that ever pans out for him. But Kyler Murray is someone that has the talent. Now he goes to a team, Kevin O'Connell as the head coach, in an offense that, you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. They brought in Juwan Jennings. He has the weapons. Now we'll see if he's going to be able to produce. I think he will. I think Kyler wins this. Right now he is the favorite. And all reports come out of camp favor Kyler Murray. But we'll see, because Kevin O'Connell was non-committal on, giving a starter yet. We'll see. There was reports that he didn't want this to go out and be dragged out throughout camp long. He didn't want to go into the end of camp before announcing a starting quarterback. If it is a tough situation, it may get to that point, but you would think that he wants to make a decision so they can stop splitting these starting reps as much as they are right now. Because right now, that's something that Kyler has come out and kind of complained about, is not getting enough starting reps. We'll see. But Kyler Murray so far is the favorite there. And then we have the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. And by all accounts, Shedeur Sanders is winning right now. Oh, it's right here. So this is just from yesterday's training camp. But Shedeur Sanders, 8 for 8, 16 completions, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Watson, 13, 25, 0, 0. Dylan Gabriel, 7, 12, 0, 0. And then Green, 3 out of 4. I don't even know who Green is. I don't even know who that quarterback is. But either way, Shedeur Sanders has been I mean, from what I've seen, it really seems like Shedeur Sanders has a real chance of being the starting quarterback here. Deshaun Watson has looked good here and there, but it seems that so far Shedeur Sanders has the lead. So not a clear winner here, but Shedeur Sanders has been the one that has been consistently performing throughout camp. And this account right here, ESPN Cleveland, has been posting these QB trackers every day. And Shedeur Sanders has looked really good so far. So those are the quarterback battles that I'm taking a look at so far. And I like I said, for the Browns, I do think that it's more towards Shedeur and he ends up winning. Vikings, I think it's Kyler Murray, and Falcons, Tua. So nothing's official yet, but so far that is where we stand with those quarterback battles. Now, a couple things before we get into the mock draft. Take a sip of some coffee. Oh, man. Let's see. All right. Okay, so this past week there was a clip that came out. Let me find it here.
I'm gonna run a couple.
All right, this was on the Pivot podcast. Ryan Clark. So, shout out to the Pivot. This is from their podcast. But they had Jake Paul on. And you got it. I mean, we'll play the clip. And then I'll talk about it. I'm gonna pause the music for a second so we can watch this.
I'm gonna run a couple of routes. I'm gonna block some people. I'm gonna catch the ball. How hard can it be?
But we talking about.
Yeah, wait, but what is it harder than that? Like, what's the difference? Like, it's just
Jake,
a speed thing.
Jake, we talking about Jamar Chase and Jetta and those type guys. We're talking about the best receivers in the world that you're trying to compete with.
That's an outside receiver, like not a slot receiver. Completely different.
They play it all.
Like
you sat around and watched Wes Welker play, and you like, oh shoot, I can go do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Jake Paul cannot be serious. I mean, God, it's so hard. Like, yeah, it's not that I don't like Jake Paul, but I respect Jake Paul, if that makes sense, because of like right here, like. This is the kind of stuff that makes me not like Jake Paul because of like the arrogance. And that's just who he is. He's very confident. He thinks that he can do anything. But I mean, the fact that he thinks he can go in and be a wide receiver in the NFL. He thinks he could actually do it. I mean, he tried. He reached out to teams trying to see if he could potentially, get in play for a team. Obviously not going to happen, but I mean, just listen to him. He's confident, and he even says that he's not going to say he can't do something. Like, that's why. And the reason why I respect him is because of where he is and how he got there. I mean, him and his brother Logan Paul. I mean, mad respect for those guys. Those guys are marketing geniuses, very, very smart. You know, you don't end up where they're at just by, you know, luck. You know, those dudes put in the work and stuff like that. But this is the kind of stuff, the kind of comments that make me go like, man, like, just makes me not like him as much. But definitely got respect. But
the world that you're trying to compete with.
That's an outside receiver, like not a slot receiver, completely different.
They play it all.
They
Like
can go inside of
you sat around and watched Wes Welker play, and you like, oh shoot, I can go do that.
Yeah, 100%. No, definitely. He's the perfect example.
cold.
I cannot do Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Those are different level athletes than me. I'm talking about the white guy, Wes Welker, who is this
Wes
big.
is
What's he gonna do?
talented,
Bro,
you underestimate
what do you
him.
mean, bro?
Edelman.
man was
you
all
got
pro.
Edelman. That's the white guy. That's the next Wes Welker.
100, bro. Wes Welker is even like 10 times better than Julian.
Hey, you can
that
do that.
is
at that level.
crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
That
Edelman.
is crazy. Julian Edelman, I mean, that dude was a baller. I mean, I still remember the catch in the Falcons game, and he gets the ball in the hand under the ball, and like, just, oh my God. The fact that he even says that, it's just crazy that he thinks he could be, like, that's the kind, like I said, that's the kind of stuff that makes you not like Jake Paul, is when you hear that kind of stuff, and you're just like, who's this guy think he is? Like, that is who he is, and he knows he's that kind of guy. Like, that, and that's where, like, kind of my respect comes for him, in the sense of, you know, it's just like, the dude is, you know, he really believes this shit that he says, and he believes in himself, and that's why he's gotten to where he is. But man, we just gotta keep listening.
Yeah, but I'm saying Wes Welker's better.
I can't let you say that
But bro,
about Jules.
like who's the other kid? Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a slot receiver.
He's played the slot receiver, but Juju Smith-Schuster was a 1,500-yard receiver in the league in Pittsburgh. You can't go do that. Now, if you're just saying I could just get on the field somewhere in the NFL, maybe, but I think you're truly discounting how talented these people are at doing that one thing. Now,
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that it's not as hard as people are making it out to be.
That's why you are where you are. Just that
Exactly.
mindset.
No, 100%.
You don't let nobody tell you can't do anything.
he has unshakable belief in
Yeah,
himself.
and that's why this merger and your companies and everything you touch is going to succeed
And by the
just
way,
because
here's
of that
the thing.
mindset.
Here's the thing. I'm ready to go in there, and if I'm proven wrong, then so be it. But people are too scared to fail and like go try and talk their shit and have that confidence and be like, I'm gonna create the biggest company in the world. I'm gonna go and do this. I'm gonna play here. I'm gonna do all of these great things. They're scared to fail and to talk that shit and to big up themselves. If I go in there and I'm a bum, guess what? Who cares? Now what? What are we gonna do?
And see right there, it's exactly the mentality that he has and that he carries, and that is the thing with Jake Paul. He, until proven otherwise, he's gonna go out there and he's gonna talk his shit, and he's doing that. He's gonna do that. But I mean, give me the wide receiver 3 from any team. I mean, he wants to talk about going up against, you know, some white wide receiver, you know, like he brought up Wes Walker and then Julian Edelman and stuff like that. Like, all right, go up against Isaac Tesla. Good luck. There's no way. Like, I'm sorry. There's so many, like, even the wide receiver 3s on a lot of teams, if not all teams, would be able to outperform Jake Paul. Like, he doesn't realize it's just the arrogance and, like, he just said it right there. But pretty wild. I saw this clip and I was like, oh, I got to show this because, man, that is a wild take from Jake Paul, thinking that he can just go out there and be be effective as a wide receiver when he hasn't done shit in the NFL ever. But that's what he likes to do. That's why he fights. But even when he fights retired old guys, like go out there and fight someone that, is current. Go fight Sean O'Malley, come on. Like, what are we doing here? But either way, funny clip of Jake Paul thinking that he can be a wide receiver in the NFL. Like, that is just wild. That dude is just wild. All right. Let's wrap this stream up here, and we're going to wrap it up with a mock draft. Let's wrap it up with a mock draft here, and if we can get this to load. All right. New mock draft. We'll keep it with the double flex. And this time, let's do from pick. The last time we did pick 4. Let's do pick 10, and let's just see where it goes. So we're going to do a 12-team full PPR snake draft. We got the 10th overall pick in this one. So let's get into it, and let's see how this pans out. This is a full PPR league that we're doing here. So let's see how this all plays out here. Okay, it is on me looking at the wide receivers available. Now, Justin Jefferson, Drake London, A.J. Brown, Rashee Rice. Running backs, Devon Achane, James Cook, Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley. I'm going to go running back here. I might go 2 running backs here. We got James Cook, Ashton Genty. I'm out on Devon Achane this year. I think that he's being drafted for way too high. This isn't the same offense for the Miami Dolphins. So drafting him in the first round, not going to happen. James Cook, I like James Cook. He's been solid the last couple seasons. I think he continues to shine. We got Ashton Genty going into his second year. They made some major changes on the offensive line, brought in Tyler Linderbaum. That's going to be huge for him. I'm going to go James Cook or Ashton Genty. James Cook or Ashton. I'm going to go with James Cook. And it comes back to me, and I'm going to go with another running back, I believe. Yep, I'm going to go for another running back. And I'm looking at Chase Brown or Ken Walker. Chase Brown is appealing, and that's who I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Chase Brown. I love the Bengals offense this year. They have one of the easier schedules. This team has been great for fantasy. I think there's a no-brainer picking Chase Brown here. And not to mention, this defense, the Bengals defense got a lot better. And what I think could happen is that maybe we don't see as crazy of games that we're used to seeing the Bengals in, where they're putting, or where they have to put up 40, 50 points a game. Why? Because this defense is going to be better, which is going to allow them to control the clock more. And how do you control the clock? You run the football. You let the running back, you play it slow. I think Chase Brown is one of the safer running back picks this year. I like grabbing him here. And now let's take a look at some wide receivers that are available. T. Higgins, Ted McMillan, Garrett Wilson, Luther Burden. I honestly, I might go 3 running backs. I think I'm going to. Let's see how this does. I'm gonna go 3 running backs through the first 3 rounds. And then I'm going to go and focus on wide receivers. So let's go. I'm going to go with Javonte Williams. Out of the Bucky Irvin, Travis Etienne, or Travis Etienne, and then Javonte Williams, I like Javonte Williams. I think he's a solid running back. He finished as a running back 12 or 11 last year. I don't think anyone's going to be taking his touches away. I know there's been reports of potentially Jaden Blue getting more work in, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm really not. I think Javonte Williams is a solid running back to grab here. Now, let's go and take a look at these wide receivers. We got T. Higgins still on the board, Ted McMillan, Ladd McConkey, Zay Flowers. I'm going to go with Ladd McConkey here. I love this Chargers offense with them going and getting Mike McDaniel as their OC. I think that's going to open up this offense a ton. I mean, we saw what Mike McDaniel can do with an offense in Miami. And despite even a bad few seasons over the last couple of years, I mean, he still was able to produce great fantasy players. You know, we saw, obviously we had Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and then Devon Achane last year was great. In you know, Devon Achane, despite being on a terrible team last year with, you know, the injuries to Tua and all that kind of stuff, that team just fell apart, but he was still able to go out there and be great. So I don't mind grabbing Ladd. I think this offense is going to be great. I think he has top 10 potential too. So getting him in the 4th, I do not mind that. Now it is back to me. We're in the 5th round here. We got Mike Evans. Not big on Mike Evans at all this year. I am staying away. Carnell Tate. I love Carnell Tate this year. I love situations like Carnell Tate. And that's who I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Carnell Tate here. I love situations like Carnell Tate because he goes to a team. It's a situation with the team that does not have an established wide receiver one. And that's what I love, especially when we get into like these rounds, the later rounds from round 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, that's what I'm trying to target. I'm trying to target the guys that have the most opportunities to become the wide receiver one for their team. And usually that translates to fantasy as well. And the Tennessee Titans don't have a wide receiver one, you know. So Carnell Tate has every opportunity to be the go-to target for Cam Ward in his second year, which a lot of people are expecting a big jump, especially with all the coaching staff changes for the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people are expecting Cam Ward to take that second year leap, and I think Carnell Tate could be, you know, we've seen rookie wide receivers come in and make an impact right away, and I think Carnell Tate could do just that this year. So I love grabbing Carnell Tate here, and it is back to me. Let's take a look at tight ends available. No one that I want to go for. Oh man, should I go for a running back? I don't know. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I mean, looking at the wide receivers here, there's a couple guys that I'm looking at that I like. I mean, Christian Watson's interesting. Brian Thomas Jr., who knows what that wide receiver room is going to look like with the Jaguars. Jordan Tyson, Christian Watson. I think the right pick here is Christian Watson. I'll go with him. They just signed him to a new deal, and you know, they moved on from Romeo Doubs. We'll see what this wide receiver room looks like. Christian Watson, when healthy, and that's been the biggest question for Christian Watson, is can he stay healthy? And we'll see. We'll see if he can. But I think, getting him in the 6th round, 3rd wide receiver for us, I don't mind it. Let's take a look here now. We are in the 7th round. We have 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers that we went so far. Let's see. Tight ends, no one that I want to go for. I honestly, I don't mind waiting until, the later rounds to grab tight ends. I really don't. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go for another running back here because there's not someone that on this wide receiver list that I'm looking at. Like maybe Alec Pierce is someone, but honestly, there's like Josh Downs that you could go get later on that I don't mind. I don't see much of a value difference there, so I think I'm gonna go with a running back here. Believe it or not. Actually, I'm not actually. I'm going to go. I want the stack. I want the stack in the situation. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert. And you should consider stacking when you're drafting. Obviously, do not force a stack if, there's a lot better players available. But looking at my team, I already got Ladd McConkey. And if Ladd McConkey's having a big game, it usually means that Justin Herbert's also having a big game. So having that correlation is huge if you can make it happen. Again, it's not something that I have to do, but if I can make it happen, I don't mind. And I think Justin Herbert this year could be definitely could be a top 10 quarterback, but I think he can even be a top 5 quarterback. We saw it early on in his career, and he's kind of been flirting with a top 10, but he hasn't. I think last year he did finish as a top 10, first time in a long time, but I like him with this new offense. We got the stack with Ladd McConkey. I like grabbing him here. And then let's go and let's see what we can do. Wide receivers. Alec Pierce is still available. He's coming back from an ankle injury. He's still out on the PUP list, so he will not be out there. He should not super concerned about the ankle. I think he'll be fine. I assume he's going to be coming back in the next couple weeks. So not concerned about that. Let's see what tight ends. Running back. Yeah, we'll go with the wide receiver. And looking at the wide receivers we got available. Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Wandale. Yeah, I'm going to go with Alec Pierce here. I think that's the right move. But Alec Pierce and Josh Downs, I feel like they're pretty similar. Honestly, I love the value of Josh Downs even more. But I don't mind grabbing Alec Pierce there. I feel like reaching for Josh Downs wasn't the right move. But it is back to me. Let's take a look at our team here. So we got Justin Herbert as quarterback, James Cook, Chase Brown, running backs, Ladd McConkey, Carnell Tate, wide receivers, need a tight end still, Javonte Williams, Christian Watson, and Alec Pierce. So let's just keep on getting some more depth here, and taking a look at the tight ends right now. I'm gonna go for a tight end right now. I drafted him in my last mock draft. Actually, I'm not going for a tight end. I will stick with a wide receiver, and I'm just gonna have to go and kind of reach for a wide receiver here. And the wide receiver I want to look for. Why can't I find? Wait, let me see. We still got a lot of bench spots as well. So, man, I don't want to grab Josh Downs. Like, if I didn't have Alec Pierce, that's who it would be an easy pick. But, and I already have Christian Watson, so I don't want to go there. Romeo Doubs with the Patriots, I don't know what that's going to look like. I haven't seen much positive reports come out of Patriots camp about the connection with him and Drake May. I honestly, we'll go with we'll go with Romeo Doubs here. Don't love the option. I just don't. I just felt it just feels wrong to go and reach like super hard like this. I mean, we're only in the 10th round here, but I'm not seeing a bunch of guys that I like on this. Like, you know, like I said, Jaden Reed with already having Christian Watson, Josh Downs, already have Alec Pierce. Don't want to do that. Stephon Diggs, who knows where he's going to end up? I would assume Commanders, maybe 49ers. He can end up. That could be interesting. Let's grab our tight end. And the tight end that I'm looking at right now, there's a couple actually. I like all three of these guys. Dallas Goedert, I think, is a great tight end to target this year. No more AJ Brown. I think he is a pretty solid later round tight end to grab. Mark Andrews with no more Isaiah Likely. I think he's someone coming off of a pretty bad year. I think that he's someone that you could take a look at. But the tight end that I want is Isaiah Likely. I think Isaiah Likely, he goes and he follows Harbaugh to the Giants. And I think he can finally get the opportunities that he has been looking for a while now. You know, we saw some massive games out of him on the Ravens. It was few and far between because of the situation with Mark Andrews. Now he goes to the Giants, follows Harbaugh. Harbaugh knows what he wants. I think he is someone that is very involved in this offense, and getting him in the 10th round, you know, that's usually where I don't really like reaching for tight ends. If I were to reach for a tight end, it's for someone that I really think has the opportunity to perform week in and week out. And that would be someone like Tyler Warren that, you know, went in 5th round here. He's someone that I like. But overall, I like drafting tight ends later usually. And Isaiah Likely, Dallas Goedert, you know, even Mark Andrews is. I do like those guys, but there's a couple of other tight ends that I do want to mention real quick. AJ Barner, I think he's someone that, you know, he had some really good games last year and consistent. You know, like I thought he was pretty consistent, so he's someone that I would take some shots on if I'm drafting. And then Chig Okonkwo over on the Commanders. No more Zach Ertz, you know, because of the ACL injury. So I do think that Chig Okonkwo has some value as well. So those are a couple other guys that I wanted to shout out real quick. It is on me. We got 3 more bench spots and then a defense. So let's just see what we got going on here. All right. We got Matthew Golden, Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy would be interesting, but he's dealing with that shoulder injury. Like I said, the shoulder injury is a little bit of a concern for me because, you know, he did have off-season shoulder surgery, and then now he's already dealing with re-aggravating it in some sort already in camp. Don't love seeing that. Jalen Coker, I think, is an interesting prospect. Casey Conception as well. One of these Browns wide receivers are going to be good. So I'm going to go with Casey Conception. You can take a shot on Denzel Boston, but I think one of those guys are going to be good for fantasy this year. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to get pushed out of this wide receiver core, and we'll see one of these younger guys get the opportunity to take over. So getting a potential wide receiver 1 on a team, obviously people aren't high on. No one really likes the Browns. I don't mind grabbing Casey Conception, first round pick as well. I like seeing that. All right. So let's see. We got 2 more draft picks. Let's see if there's any running backs that I want to take a shot on. We got Jonathan Brooks, who is coming back from an ACL injury. He's interesting. Yeah, if I was going to pick a running back, and I'm going to, because I feel like, I got 3. I think I feel comfortable having 4. I'll go with Jonathan Brooks. I don't love the situation there. I do think this is a 50-50 split backfield, but Jonathan Brooks, I think, is the clear pass catcher for this team. I mean, there's already been reports of him lining up at receiver and all that kind of stuff. So in a PPR format, I like targeting those kind of guys. And then we need one more pick here. Let's go for a wide receiver. And the wide receiver I am going to go with is Jalen Naylor, someone that I like. I'm going to throw out some later round guys that I like. Jalen Naylor. And then Alec Alomar, or I don't even know how to say his last name. This guy, Alec Iomanor. I don't even know how to say that. Apologies to him, but I don't mind targeting him. He's been getting a lot of hype throughout camp, and he made some big plays last year as well. But the guy I'm going to go with is Deshaun Stribling for the 49ers. The 49ers are dealing with so many injuries on the wide receiver front. I don't mind targeting him. I expect his ADP to rise as we get closer to the start of the season. With all these injuries that the 49ers are dealing with, he himself is dealing with an injury right now, but nothing too concerning yet. It's just some hamstring tightness. They have held him out of practice, but I do think he has a great opportunity in this offense with a wide receiver core that is on the older side. I mean, you got Mike Evans, 32 years or 33 years old. You got Deebo Samuel, who's also up there. You got Christian Kirk, also older. All three of those guys, are on the older side of things. Mike Evans and Christian Kirk already dealing with some injuries. Mike Evans is a minor quad strain. Christian Kirk dealing with a calf strain. So those guys are already dealing with injuries. I think there's a great opportunity for Stribling to go out and make an impact right away. And I did see reports that a lot of teams had Stribling as one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver. So I don't mind grabbing him. And then the last pick is defense, and I am going to go with for defense, I will go with the I'll go with the Jacksonville Jaguars as my defense. And that wraps it up for this mock draft. So not a bad mock draft here. Justin Herbert, James Cook, Chase Brown, Ladd McConkey, Carnell Tate, Isaiah Likely, Javonte Williams, Christian Watson, Jacksonville Jaguars as the D, and then on the bench, Alec Pierce, Romeo Doubs, Casey Conception, Jonathan Brooks, and Dejon Stribling. So not bad at all. But that is going to do it for me today. Steph Curry, thank you for hanging out today. Hopefully catch you around soon. And yes, I am going to be doing fantasy football this year for sure. So appreciate you hanging out. But that is going to do it for me. On the way out, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already, or follow wherever platform you're on. If you follow, subscribe, whatever. It's completely free to do. Make sure you are, so you don't miss out on anything. I'm going to be going live, potentially go live tonight. If not tonight, I'm going to go live tomorrow. I'm going to start going live more consistent. So make sure you're following, subscribe, so you know when I am live. You'll get a notification. You'll see schedule events, so you know, so you don't miss out on anything. Come hang out. We'll talk some football. But that is going to do it for us today. And yeah, make sure you go and check out LineEmUpSports.com. I will be posting my MLB bets there for today. And also, you can get free PPR rankings, fantasy football PPR rankings, completely free over on LineEmUpSports.com. Completely free. Head over there. I try to update them as much as possible. The website is still in the construction phase, fixing things, changing things around. There's some spots that are still empty, prepping for stuff to be put in. So if you see what may feel like a little unfinished or something, I'm working on it. I've been working on it over the last couple weeks. So very excited about getting that going, but completely free fantasy football rankings, PPR. You can go check that out, LineEmUpSports.com. Make sure you're following, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button on the way out, and I'll catch you guys either later or tomorrow. So peace.